So, Michael, I'd love to know where it all started. What was your first business?
Went to university up in Birmingham and met a friend of mine called Tom Boardman, and we had this idea to sell toys and gadgets and games. And a wonderful chap called Tom Teichman decided to invest £500,000 into our business. And we decided to do it on the internet, which was very new and shiny back in 1998. And the great thing then was that there weren't many competitors. The downside was there were hardly any customers either.
And then from there, what was your next?
Then we almost lost everything in the dot-com bust in early 2000. We overextended ourselves, we spent too much money, we got carried away. We teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. It was a pretty scary time.
Michael's business might now be a multi-million-pound hit, but he's clearly had more than his fair share of near misses. After the dot-com bubble burst, Michael swapped selling gadgets for developing an adventure game. Perplex City launched in 2005. Players bought puzzle cards and followed clues in a bid to find buried treasure worth £100,000. Amazingly, having nearly lost it all, Michael persuaded his previous investor and others to give him another chance and more money.
I'd managed to raise further financing, and in total, I'd raised about £6 million for this business. Yes, so I got some very well-respected, huge venture capital firms came in and invested between them many millions of pounds. So the pressure and the stakes really raised at that point.
Did it succeed? Was it good for you?
There were people in different countries around the world helping expand this treasure hunt. It was a pretty big operation, and but unfortunately there weren't enough people playing to cover the costs of running this very expensive business.
But what did you put? You didn't spend £6 million, surely, on a website and a and a treasure hunt.
Helicopters are pretty expensive.
And real helicopters
Real helicopters we hired to do flyovers of these live events we did. We had a massive burn rate, and our outgoings were a lot higher than our incomings.
Wow.
Very
£6 million?
£6 million. And you can imagine how stressful and tense it was to have all this money, but the business not working.
Did you lose all the money then?
Well, we had about £600,000 left in the bank, about $1 million.
And how did you front the investors? Were they camping outside like sort of protesters?
Well, we had to go to the board and tell them in a very stressful board meeting that, you know, that £6 million you'd given me, well, most of it has gone. I'm really sorry this idea hasn't worked out, but I've got one more idea, one final roll of the dice.
What did they say? I mean, if you came in to me and said, Peter, look, it's not all bad. You gave me $6 million and I've got 600k left, so hey, we're all right. No, we're bloody not all right. It's like, what is going on?
I was terrified. But to their credit, the board were supportive. You know, they listened and they said, Michael, fair enough. You know, we invested in you more than the idea, and if you've got one more idea, let's see what happens.
You lucky devil.
I think if I'd screwed up with Moshi Monsters, there wouldn't have been a third chance. So fortunately, it worked.
Have you been told that you were mad before?
Well, I think there's always been a very fine line between insanity and genius, and a lot of entrepreneurs with big visions kind of weave between that line.
Insane or genius, Michael certainly doesn't lack confidence. I did some digging and discovered that one of his first investors was a very special lady.
Hello, you must be Michael's mum.
Yes, I am. How do you do?
Oh, is Michael in?
Yes, he is.
Can I come in?
Through. Yes,
Thank you very much.
Yes, just go straight through.
In 1998, aged 24, Michael was so desperate for start-up capital, he became a medical guinea pig.
Here you go, boys. That's yours, Peter.
Oh, thank you very much.
Hearing that her son was being paid to test migraine drugs, Mrs. Acton invested £1,000 in him and his company.
Do you remember that first £1,000?
I do.
And you are...
Well, we believed in you, and you were always keen to get ahead, and you sort of knew what you wanted to do, really, didn't you?
Yeah.
What were you thinking when you handed over that £1,000?
Yes, I know. I thought, well, I'll never see it again. But boy, I did see it.
Michael was telling me about the times where things didn't go well for him.
Yeah, after we lost
Oh dear.
Well, you probably shouldn't hear this, Mum, but yeah, £5 million or so. That was a bit of a stressful time.
Wow, is this the first time you've told your mum?
Yes. I didn't know where.
I think you don't really want to go home and tell your parents that you've lost £5 million. It's going to be an awkward Sunday lunch.
It's going to be a very awkward Sunday lunch, but we'd still like to know, yeah.
Fair enough.
You had no idea things weren't going well?
With Michael, everything is just fine, Mother.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So you had no idea that
No.
he basically almost lost the business?
I know, yes. I didn't know at the time, no.
Are you disappointed that he didn't tell you?
Yes.
If he came to you and said that, would that be...
Oh, I had to give him all my savings.
Would you?
Of course,
Yeah.
yes. So you would for your son, your child. Oh, yes.
I think it was maybe because I always thought, I believed that we'd be able to turn it around.
Right,
So,
yes,
yeah,
of
that
course,
it was just a temporary blip.
Yeah. Hopefully, all will be well now.
No, things are just fine at the moment. Don't
I'm
you
glad to hear it.
It's astonishing that Michael has only just revealed to his mum that he lost so much money. But this kind of self-reliance is a part of the DNA of the most successful business people.